This is Oliver Twist, based on the novel by Charles Dickens, illustrated by Barry Ablett, and this is Chapter 3 of the story. Chapter 3, Running Away. As Oliver crouched in the cellar, Mr. Bumble was nailing an advertisement to the Workhouse door. Boy for sale, £5. The next day, Mr. Bumble dragged Oliver from the cellar. "There are 2 men coming to see you," he said, "so make sure you behave." Oliver watched as the first man pulled up outside the door in a donkey cart laden with soot. "Whoa!" he shouted, hitting the donkey on the head with a great thump from his whip. "Mr. Gamfield," said Mr. Bumble, stepping out to greet him. Mr. Gamfield stared at Oliver. "He's a very small boy, but I need an apprentice to climb chimneys and sweep out soot. Some of the chimneys are narrow and twisting. This brat will fit nicely." "Please don't make me go," cried Oliver. "I won't go with him, I won't." "Don't be so insolent," said Mr. Bumble. "I've heard about chimney sweeps," Oliver said. "You can die up in a chimney. They light a fire to make you hurry down and you get smothered in smoke." "Nonsense," said Mr. Gamfield. "I just gets a nice crackling blaze going and the boys come down quicker than anything." "Then I'll frizzle in flames." "I'm not going," replied Oliver firmly. Mr. Gamfield clambered back into his donkey cart. "I don't want a rebellious boy. You've spoiled him, Mr. Bumble." With that, he whipped the donkey until it trotted away. Mr. Bumble shook Oliver until his teeth rattled. "Keep your mouth shut or no one will want you," he bellowed. "You've ruined that chance. Don't ruin the next one. Look, here he comes now." He pointed to a thin, spidery man coming up to the door. The man had a gloomy air. "I am Mr. Sowerberry," he introduced himself. "I arrange funerals and I need help." He looked at Oliver closely. "This boy will do. He's so thin, he's not worth £5. I'll give you £3 for him. Take it or leave it." Mr. Bumble was disgusted, but there was nothing he could do. He was eager to see the last of Oliver. "Glad you're going, Oliver. Behave, or else," he threatened. Back at the shop, Mr. Sowerberry showed Oliver a dusty basement. A dim light filtered in through a grimy pane of glass, barred with rusty iron nails. "You'll sleep here, you little bag of bones," he said. Oliver looked around the shadowy room. It was stacked with empty coffins and planks of wood. Drapes of black cloth hung from hooks in the walls, billowing occasionally in the breeze, as though first they breathed, and then they were lifeless. The only place to sleep, a recess behind the coffins where a thin mattress was thrust, looked like a grave. "And this is Noah, my apprentice," Mrs. Sowerberry went on, taking him into the kitchen. "Noah, give Oliver his supper." Noah looked cross. "What work is he going to do?" he asked sulkily. "He'll be a mute. He's a good-looking boy. Dressed in a top hat and morning clothes, he'll be a credit to the business." "Please, sir, what's a mute?" asked Oliver. "A mute walks next to the coffin at funerals and follows it to the grave. Children's funerals only. Winter's coming on, the sickly season. Always lots of children's funerals this time of year." Noah grinned unpleasantly when Mr. Sowerberry left them alone. "Here's your food." He handed Oliver the dog's bowl. Stuck to the side were some stinking scraps of cold fat the dog had rejected. Oliver was so hungry he wolfed them down. "Pig," mocked Noah. "Workhouse boy. If your mother hadn't died, she'd be in prison. She must have been bad. Only bad uns give birth in the workhouse." "Don't you dare say anything against my mother," shouted Oliver. "So, what are you going to do about it?" Noah jeered. This! Oliver punched Noah hard in his flabby stomach. Noah collapsed like a crumpled balloon. Ow! He squealed. Help! Murder! Mr. Sourberry! You've lost your mind, Oliver Twist. You just wait, Workhouse boy. You'll be punished with this. Do what you want, replied Oliver. I'm not staying here any longer. He raced out of the door and tore down the road, his heart pounding. Don't let them come after me, he prayed.